Hello guys, after so many lessons on middle game strategy, it is finally time to learn how to officially evaluate any middle game position, come up with a plan, and hopefully win the game. Now, why did it take me so long? Well, I needed you to know what variable factors are, which we need to convert into constant factors, and then we're going to convert that into a win. And the good news, guys, is that at this point in the course, lesson 138, you should know all of this. You should know what a pass pawn is. You should know why the pair of bishops is so important. And more importantly, you should know how to use it. So with that said, if you take a look at this list, guys, you can see that everything you know it. It's nothing out of the ordinary. So the first game that I wanted to go over with you for you to see these things in action, and hopefully you get to apply it to the final position I'm going to give you as homework. This game was played by two great players. We have Boris Spassky, who lost his world championship to Bobby Fischer, and of course, as the white pieces, we have another great player, Tigran Petrosyan. And after knight c6, the first thing that I want you to do, guys, is to pause the video for as long as you need, even if you need 5 days, and evaluate the position and tell me who do you think is better. And you don't have to do it, but those of you who are good friends of the channel, please let me know in the comment, guys, your answer, because that's going to help me understand where our course should be going in the next few lessons. Okay, so assuming that you did that and you paused the video, let me tell you this. I'm pretty sure that you said that the black pieces are in a better position. I'm pretty sure that if you have to continue this game, you'd rather continue as the black pieces. Now I need you to say hello say hello to my little friend here on the left, guys. Over here, if you look at the evaluation by the engine, it says 0.77, so the white pieces are definitely better in this position. Now, it might be difficult to understand why, because at first glance, the black pieces have a better piece development. Their pieces are more coordinated, and the white pieces even have doubled isolated pawns, right? Now, if we go step by step, we take a look at the variable factors, we take a look at the constant factors, I need you to understand one thing. The most important, and I know it's obvious, but the most important factors are the constant factors. Anything variable or short term is something that you could easily fix, right? And again, I know that I've said it before, but at this point in the course, guys, you should know why anything related to pawn structure is on the constant list, and piece development and so on has to do more with variable. Well, the thing is that pawns are not easy to change the pawn structure. So it's going to be long term, and we have to be very careful with that. Something like piece development, it could change easily. Like for white, all they need to do to get back in the game when it comes to development is to do something like e4, develop the bishop, and voila. So it was temporary, it was variable. Now, anything like this, double pawns, that's gonna take a long time to get rid of them, and maybe we carry them to the end game. So the evaluation here is very simple, guys. Black pieces have better piece development, better coordination, but that's variable. The white pieces have constant factors such as the pair of bishops. And guys, if by any chance you have no idea why this is so important, you gotta go back to lesson 111. You need to know what to do when you have the pair of bishops. If not, it's pointless. Also, we have the A file, very powerful semi-open file, and this could be a long-term liability for the black pieces. And then finally, guys, we have better control over the center. If we manage to do pawn to e4, this knight will not be able to do much. This bishop will not be able to do much. So these things, we should be able to convert them into a win. Now, all of this sounds very nice, and you guys are like, yeah, it makes sense now that I think about it. But what is your plan from this moment on? What should be doing? What should you be doing next? And of course, I'm going to show you what the white pieces did in this game, but try to come up with it on your own. Based on this information that I just told you, what should you be looking forward to? Now, finally, before we get started, don't forget about Candid Moves, guys. Middle game, critical position. What do we do next? Well, try to come up with at least 3 candid moves. Now, one of those candid moves for you should have been pawn to b5. Now that you understand an open file or semi-open file could be a constant or long-term factor, well, you need to work on that. b5, we've talked about this kind of pawn before, is a pawn that stabs 2 pawns. So in this game, guys, the white pieces, of course, did pawn to b5, and we're fixing that pawn on a7. And you're going to see how, from this moment on, the entire game revolves around that a7 weakness, pawn structure. So that's, if you go back to, if you went over lesson 40 something, that's a left behind pawn or a backward pawn. So we got, guys, pawn to b5, and here the black pieces just went knight to e5. Now, just to show you how delicate this is. Again, the black pieces have better piece development, but you're going to see that regardless, it's nothing compared to our long-term factors. So here, knight e5 was played, but what if they had done something like knight a5? Well, all I need to do, guys, is not let go of my long-term factors. And I know that if I continue this game against the engine, if you continue this game from here against the engine, you're going to see this bar go down and down and down, and then a quick, sudden shift for the black pieces, right? Because we just lose focus and it's hard to be patient. Here, the next move for the white pieces, and again, this is not what happened, but this is a variation that they give, which is bishop e2. Guys, I need to preserve my pair of bishops. This is one of the long-term advantages, right? So queen d1, this is the move that they give. Rook takes, now we have the open file. And then after knight b3, look, knight b3 seems so good because they're going after the pair of bishops. Well, we got rook a3, and after they finally trade, yes, we lost the pair of bishops, but we still have all of this pressure on a7, and they will not be able to do anything about it, guys. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, let me go back. In this game, they did knight e5, and now, again, we need to preserve the bishops. There's no need to go and attack the king. There's no need to do anything extraordinary. We just need to go all the way back to e2. Then queen to c7, we know they want to gain a tempo on the queen, but it's not that important. And now, guys, before we do our next move, we gotta remember our evaluation. We said we have the a file, we have our pair of bishops, and then what is the other thing that we said? Well, we also have a very good control with the center the moment we do e4. Why? This knight, again, cannot do much. This bishop that is so active all of a sudden is going to be biting on concrete. So this is a very good strategy to keep bishops under control. And of course, at the same time, I'm opening up my bishop. And that problem that I had being behind in development is going to be resolved. And right there, you see how easy it was to change that variable factor, the lack of development, right? So after e4, we got rook d8, of course, and now we have queen to e1. Very nice move, guys. This queen here can even go to the king side if necessary. So now we got queen to c5, and look at this. After queen c5, all we need to do is queen f2. We're happy to trade pieces. The less pieces on the board, the more we accentuate that weakness on a7. So of course, the black pieces did not trade. They went back to e7. But what if they had taken, guys? Well, for starters, my king is going to go towards the center. Once the queens are off, my king is happy to start getting centralized, because this is going to be getting closer to an endgame. Plus, there's no dark square bishop that could attack me. It only makes sense. So king f2, then knight d3 is one variation that they give here. And yes, again, they get rid of my pair of bishops. And this is one of the benefits of having the pair of bishops, guys. When we talked about it, I told you that once you have the pair of bishops, one of the benefits is that you could let go of it whenever you want. So in this case, of course, they forced us to get rid of it. But now after bishop e3, fully developed, and knight e8, trying to reroute the knight, look at that bar. Now we have rook a4, guys, getting ready to double up on the pawn. So after knight d6, king e2, this is just way better for the white pieces. And again, we didn't do any crazy tactic, any attack on the king. It's just keeping our eyes on the constant factors. So let me just go back, guys, because in this game, of course, Spassky did not capture the queen. So he just went queen e7. And now please pause the video, try to come up with the next move. Guys, it should be easy. If you have been paying attention, it should be easy. All we need to do is stay laser focused on our evaluation. Do you remember the weak pawn on a7? Well, let's just drill on it. So rook a3, then knight e8, develop the bishop, knight g6, then bishop goes to e3. And here, by the way, it might seem like a waste of a move, but hey, that knight that was centralized had to go to g6, right? And now my bishop is going to end up on a nice square. So knight d6, rook doubles on the a file, knight c8. Look, remember at the beginning, the one thing that was good about the black pieces was their coordination, their piece development. Now they have the opposite. So we got bishop f1. Now, this is not that relevant to the lesson, but what's the idea behind bishop f1? Any idea? Well, once we get to this position, we have done everything as we should, but then we get to this position where our opponent defended very well. and we don't know what to do. So what do we start doing? We start pushing pawns, which is a mistake. We start moving back and forth. Well, we need to stay put. And whenever you get to a position where you don't know what to do next, the only question that you need to ask is, which of my pieces can I improve? In this case, it is going to be the knight. Now, I know that I want to improve the knight. From here, my pawn doesn't need defense. My knight cannot jump to any good squares. So the question now is, if my knight were floating in the air and I could place it on any empty square, where would I put it? Well, in this case, Petrosian decided that he wanted the knight to be on d4. Now, to get to d4, I need to go to e2. So knight e2, knight d4. So there you go, bishop f1, nothing too crazy. f5, this move is just pure desperation. Look at this, look at my little friend. It was at, 133, the moment f5 happened, 204. Guys, it's very painful to be playing without a plan, and that's why it's so important to dominate these concepts. So f5 was played, we simply take, then rook a4, rook e8 hitting the bishop. Now, nothing crazy, go back to safety. Then queen c5, well, the moment they offered the trade of queens, look at the board going up, there you go. Now we take, isolated, and this is just too much. So the moment they took, now we simply go and collect the weak pawns. Now rook e5, doesn't matter, knight a4, all of my pieces are putting pressure on the isolated pawn. a6, take, they take, and guys, now this is just a little bit of calculation. Hit the knight. Notice that I'm not stopping to calculate or anything like that. I really want to focus on the strategic part, right? Anyways, I'm leaving these games. You can find them online. You can review them at your own pace. But you can see how we went from evaluating the position, focusing on the advantage, converting it, and now we get to this position where we simply have the pair of bishops against the rook. If you have no idea what to do here, again, go back to lesson 111. But what I would recommend to you guys is to set this position up now against the engine and finish it. Pick the strongest level, or if you don't feel that that brave today, just against whatever level you play against regularly, and see if you can convert this into a win. After bishop c3, rook b1, activating the king, bishop g7, the black pieces, Boris Spassky resigned. Guys, look at this. We finished the game with plus 4.28, and there was no crazy tactic, no crazy attack. Now, the last thing I wanted to do, guys, is leave you some homework. So this position is for you. Take your time. This is a position that I would like you to spend at least 10 minutes. Try to look at the variable list of factors, constant factors, and try to come up with an evaluation. Try to come up with a plan. If you want to compare your answers to what actually happened in the game to the actual evaluation, well, I'm leaving it in the description of this video, so feel free to check it out. And also, don't forget that you can talk to me in the comments and also on our live stream every Thursday. With that said, guys, I will see you in lesson number 139.